Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com.
So welcome back to the show. We've got, again, a full day, a lot of activity. I so much appreciate the feedback we continue to have. When I interviewed Wesley Clark, he's the 4-star general under Obama. So thank you again. Keep that coming up. And to check out past episodes, make sure that you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliancer.com, the only place where entrepreneurs align. Well, I'm very honored today. Why? Because I'm going to be interviewing someone who is the CEO and co-founder of a very well-known platform. In fact, a little known secret, we're also on that platform. Now, you may be wondering who and what platform that is. With us is Todd Cochrane. He is the CEO and co-founder of Blubrry Podcasting. You can reach him at BLUBRRY.com. Once again, that's BLUBRRY.com. And of course, we'll post it, past interviews on our website. So welcome to the show, Todd. We're super excited to have you here. And I got to jump right in. I heard and understand that you've got 85,000 shows on your platform. How is that possible? And who was the first one on your platform?
I was the first one on the platform. And because I still have an active podcast today that I've been doing for 18 years. But, you know, really in that full scope, there's 85,000 shows that work with us at a variety of levels. Some host with us, some measure with us, some use our tools. So it's a wide scope of different types of podcasts.
So tell us how did you go from you being on the platform to it growing to 85,000 shows?
Well, when we started the business in 2005, we really started out as a media agency, and we were measuring podcasts. And it was one of the first companies to measure podcasts accurately. And we really had the foresight to build into the business the service component. So the service component of the business came earlier. So we did this media business for a while, did the measurement of podcasts, and then we built in the full-blown hosting platform. And of course, as the owner, one of those things you're going to do is you're going to test everything to make sure that it's right.
How do you keep up, though, with the growth of that? I mean, certainly, again, going from one and keep growing and growing and growing. I mean, it must just take a ton of resources in that. Like, how do you navigate that?
You know, so being a small company, we really built the platform out in automation so that it would be easy to manage. We have a relatively small team, around 20 full-time team members, and it's really based upon the back end and the management tools and really making it so that once a customer gets set up and running, they're kind of on autopilot. They don't need a lot of hand-holding. And then a great support team, of course, that answers the phone when customers have challenges.
Now, when someone goes to your website, is there do you feature a number of different podcasts? Is that right?
On the website, we don't, but in the directory, we do. We do have a full-blown directory. The homepage of the website is basically giving information for potential new customers to consider us to be their podcast host. Podcast hosting now is a commodity. There's, 10 years ago, there was 5 companies. Now there's 25. So we have to really talk about the features and what makes us different than our competitors.
So a number of people had heard that you were going to be coming on, and one of the questions, probably most popular question is how do you get listeners? How do you get exposure? How do you get people to know that you exist with the world of a gazillion podcasts that are out there?
Yeah, being there's really probably about 500,000 active shows. It's not as big as everyone thinks. I hear this big 4 million number, but the number of shows creating content, you break that down across 30-some categories, and you're not really competing against that many people in the scope of things compared to YouTube. But really, I tell content creators, because it's the number one question that's always asked me, how do I grow? How do I grow? And I say, what's your goal? Number one, what is the goal? And if they can answer that, maybe the goal is lead generation. Maybe the goal is just to hang out and have a conversation. Maybe the goal is monetization. And if they know the goal of their podcast, they can more set the expectation of what the content's going to be like and where their focus is going to be on marketing. but it really bases, I really base that conversation about what they want to get out of the show and what the goal is.
And another popular question, I'm sure you've been asked this, or if not, you know that it's out there, is they say, how do I find sponsors? How do I, get people to pay for this, to get that, besides exposure, now sponsors?
I think the key there is really you don't ever know who's listening to your show. So oftentimes your first sponsor will actually come from a fan that's listening to the show that may make a recommendation to a company they're associated with, say, hey, I'm listening to this podcast. It aligns with our values. I think it'd be a great sponsor show. So sometimes the sponsor will actually come from within the listening audience. Not always, but if they don't have that opportunity, companies like mine do offer the ability to get started early in advertising without even really need to know anyone. It's a matter of clicking a button and you get programmatic advertising. As the show grows and gets bigger, then those opportunities for dedicated sponsor spots will come to them. But really, it's oftentimes a matter of size, unless you have a super, super niche audience, which is oftentimes raises the value of that audience.
So, someone who's a customer of yours and has their podcast on your platform, you provide a way for them to get advertising. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So basically, 97% of the podcasts out there today are not monetized. And we knew that. So earlier this year, we partnered with a company that does advertising. It's called Programmatic. And basically, they go into a pool and a computer essentially buys the advertising automatically. It's not a host endorsed ad, it's strictly you might hear an ad from Microsoft, or you might hear an ad from Geico. You would hear a variety of ads, or maybe even something from the local car dealer because they can geo-target. So I think the programmatic is simple. It's easy to get started with. It's not going to pay as much as that traditional host endorsed ad you've heard on podcasting, but you can get started immediately day one if you want to with us. But then again, those bigger deals where you're getting those one-on relationships and you're getting to do that host endorsed ad deal, those usually come a little later when the show gets a little bigger.
Interesting. Again, and you're listening, watching me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Heroes Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. Why? Because it's the only place where entrepreneurs align. And we have with us today Todd Cochrane, CEO and co-founder of Blubrry Podcasting. You can reach him at blubrry.com. That's Blubrry.com. Eliances is also on that platform. So go to blubrry.com and look up Eliances. Well, we're on there along with 85,000 shows, but definitely look for us. In fact, Todd, you mentioned about the directory earlier in the interview that you have, and you have said that there's one through maybe 85,000, 85,010 now is where people are continuing watching and listening to this and signing up. How do you bubble up to the top? What's the ranking? How does the ranking determined by Blubrry?
In the directory, basically, anytime you publish a new episode, you go to the top of the directory in your specific category.
I love it.
But ranking up really in the podcasting space is about consistency, just like you're doing. You create a show on a regular basis. It's a consistency of putting that content out, gets people to build you into their lives.
Why do you think podcasting has become so popular? And the second part is a little sensitive subject is do you think it'll take over radio?
So podcasting is a medium where you have made a choice to listen to a specific piece of content. So it's not like it's being thrown at you by the radio where you've tuned into FM 100 or whatever. You have actually made a choice to listen to that. So that is why we call it a lean in type of a medium where people are actually listening. I can't listen to a podcast and work. It's impossible. I can listen to the radio and work, but I think radio is here for a long, long time. I don't think radio is going away anytime soon. But having adult children and having raised those children through the time where digital media was making an appearance, whenever they were in the car, they were plugged into their mobile devices. They weren't plugged into AM, FM. They were plugged into whatever they were listening to on Pandora or any of those other platforms. So I think what will happen over time is that radio will still be great for local, but I think it's going to age out over time. I think radio has a tough hill to climb, but again, it's not going anywhere in the near future for sure. It's not going any place.
That's excellent. So you've grown this company by, I mean, leaps and bounds. Did you ever think that what you did 18 years ago would be what it's at now?
I had no clue. And in the early days of podcasting, it was really about geeks, that could really figure out how to make it happen. Now, the diversity in podcasting is incredible. Matter of fact, today, more women are creating content, new content than men. More ladies now are listening to content than men. It's a diverse platform. It's amazing. And in not only in the United States, but all over the world, podcasting is taking over, where people have a voice and they have this unique medium again, where it is this lean in. People have chosen to listen to the content. So I think that's where the big difference is. There's a lot of great radio shows that have been out there that make you sit and think, but I think podcasting has got the market on that right now.
Has there been any topic that's not already been covered in podcasting? I mean, with that many shows and that many people doing, like, is there anything left, something that is unique that exists that not been?
There probably is, but the beauty of it is, and I've known this having done a tech show for 18 years now, is that people move around listening to different content. They kind of get sick and tired of you after 2 or 3 years, and they go away for a couple of years and they come back. So I think there is enough diversity in voices that gives people enough options to be able to consume the type of content and have the relationships with those hosts that they want. And again, it's really truly about relationship and engagement in podcasting, because you are really literally in their head, because oftentimes they're plugged in with earbuds.
Great. Well, again, we've got time for here one more question in that. And what kind of secrets can you share with children out there that really want to be able to build something that you've been so successful at building? They may be tinkering now with something of, having, 1-2 type customers or friends, but to have grown like you have, what are some of the secrets you can share with them to make a mark? I mean, Blubrry is well known, and 85,000 members, podcasters know that, and it continues to grow. What secrets can you share with them?
It's dedication and grind. You have to work. Nothing is easy. Absolutely nothing is easy. You have to work very, very hard and put in the hours to be successful. Some people, sure, they're going to go like a rocket ship to the top, but most people have to work hard and grind. My 25 years in Hawaii, grinding is what we call when we go to eat. But for me, grinding is working very, very hard and perfecting and making sure that you're watching what's going on in the space in the market that you're in, so that you can be successful. And not only that, continue to be successful.
Well, phenomenal. And Todd, by the way, I want to thank you too for your 25 years in military service, allowing us the freedom to even be able to do this show. So Todd Cochrane, thank you so much. CEO of Blubrry Podcasting, 85,000 shows. Make sure that you go to Blubrry.com and listen to us there. Blubrry.com. This has been David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show. Todd, you got to also dance with me a little bit here.